Well, here we are. I can't believe it. The last game here of this 34th annual National Christian Homeschool Basketball Championships coming to you from Springfield, Missouri campus of Drury University and the O'Reilly Event Center. Scott Staten alongside Trellis Williams and Jeremy Caldwell. And guys, we finish the tournament with this matchup that has happened once before already with the boys 18U Undisputed National Championship, where the HEA Firebirds out of Michigan will be taking on the Tennessee Heat from Nashville, Tennessee. And, guys, we've had a great tournament. Another great game just crowned the Dallas HSAA Angels, the girls 18U Undisputed for the first time. And one of these two teams will win their first Undisputed now as we get ready to get things going here.
Yeah, it's been a fun day. It's been a fun week. I've enjoyed calling with you. Lots of hours of preparation for this tournament. All comes to an end tonight after this. And then we start prepping for next year.
Yep.
The last 5 years, MHEA has been the reigning champions here for boys 18U. We're going to see a different champion. But one thing we are going to see, the national runner-up from last year, Tennessee Heat,
that's right,
or the team that knocked off MHEA this year will be the champion.
It seems appropriate, and here we go. Tip goes to the Tennessee Heat. It'll be Bond with the ball. Thatcher Bond, coach's son, swinging it around. They came so close last year. Coach Bond said before the game, they've been thinking about this since this time last year. They said we just felt like we had a title for all but 3 minutes, and we just could not hold on to it. No shame in that, as MHEA had 5 undisputed, and then HEA, what a run they've had. Upset win over MHEA to end that reign, and then a absolutely close, amazing game with Dallas HSAA, one of the 1 seeds. Be able to pull that upset off. And then yesterday, just a dominating defensive performance over the Warriors. And the Heat trying to make it back and finish the job this time. That time, the first 3 by Rebant misses everything. Tennessee fans let him hear about it.
First possession each way seems like a few butterflies. Backdoor pass out of bounds and air ball 3.
Tennessee has cruised. They only got 3rd in the Midwest. And, nice backdoor cut. Bond. Good pass. Inside there by Jacob Banker. 6'9" big man. Gets it to Bond, who puts it in. Opens up the scoring. Now here's a steal by Tennessee. Bond on the attack. All the way to the bucket and too strong. Tried to clean it up was Dismang. No good. HEA now on the run. Going to toss it up. They were trying to go for the oop there to Markowitz. But they forgot they got another big guy on the other side there, 6'9" with Banker, and he intercepts the pass.
Yeah, you got to throw a little bit higher than that. You're going to try to get it over Dismang.
Tennessee, Senecola trapped down in the corner. Here's Dismang. Tennessee got those bigs. They've got the guards to go with it. Bond. Here's Dismang. Out top, one of the all-Midwest players. That time a floater is no good by number 11, Wyatt Story. Back the other way comes Opsimer. Opsimer, another all-Midwest player, over to Blair in the left corner. Back out top, Opsimer. Opsimer falling out of bounds. Gets it to Ellis Blair over on the right side.
Man, active hands by the Heat here early on.
Really aggressive zone. Rebant. Bounce pass was trying to find a cutting Markowitz. We saw him last night with 2 monster dunks to set the pace against the Warriors, but that time Tennessee well aware that was coming.
Yeah, I believe that was 2 out of the first 3 possessions of the game. Kind of took the sails out of PT early, and they just never could recover from that. And you mentioned the matchup previously is Tennessee Heat won 3rd out of the Midwest. They won 3rd by beating these HEA Warriors in an overtime game. And I believe they were without Banker either the whole game or most of that game. So it'd be interesting to see how this game falls out.
On the drive, Reband had his shot blocked. Markowitz grabs the rebound. Got a jump ball. Going to stay down at this end. Yeah, that one, I actually saw that game. I was watching the championship was HHBA. It was the 1 seed overall. It got knocked out earlier in this tournament, taking on Chap. And you would have never thought the 3rd and 4th place teams were going to be playing here for the Undisputed. On the inbounds, picked off by Bond. That one was a 67-66 overtime game. We can only hope this one will be that close. Markowitz from behind with the block on Dismang. Markowitz has been a beast inside the paint. Rebant got tied up. Ellis Blair comes back to get the ball from him. Senecola chasing.
It's been a defensive battle here to start.
And both teams have such a big presence inside.
Yeah, nothing easy. Here's Markowitz, little baseline jumper that rims out into the hands of Dismang. They remain scoreless. 2-0 early. Tennessee Heat trying to finish what they started last year. Just 2.5 minutes, they led the game, and then MHEA closed out the win.
They played so well that whole game, except for that last 3 minutes when I think just the maturity and the presence of MHEA being here the previous 4 years kind of took control of that game and paid off. And see if this last year's presence is going to help them this year propel to the next level.
HEA Firebirds once again showing that tough defense. Here's Blair, left corner. His three is short. He's been able to connect during this tournament. Anderson Blair with 8 3-pointers, but that time his shot was not true. And so far it's opposite of last night. They came out like gangbusters against PT Warriors and just built a lead they never gave up. But right now having trouble putting the ball in the bucket. Bond in the corner, cross court. There's the pass, down low, up and in. You knew Dismang at some point was going to get involved.
Just great ball movement by Tennessee, and this is what we've seen the entire tournament from them. Just their offense just working so fluidly.
Banker, even though he's a big guy and he posts a lot, he averages about 3 assists a game, so not going to be surprised by some of those passes he's making.
Man, they are active and everywhere defensively, the Tennessee Heat are.
Opsimer had a great look. Unable to connect that time. And Tennessee only giving up 1 shot on each trip so far. Markowitz was able to get his hand on one of them.
We should have had one of us track rebounds by all the bigs in this game.
I'm not sure we have enough numbers for that. On the cut, good backdoor pass. Banker once again to Sinicola. His shot was no good. Here come the Firebirds on the run. Blair. Oh, nice hesitation, but he missed the shot. Gets his own rebound. Opsimer for 3. No good. I thought he had it. Looked to be on target. Bond comes away with the ball.
Seems to be a lid on the basket for the Firebirds thus far.
4-0. Low-scoring game here in the boys' 18U Undisputed National Championship. Banker out top for Tennessee. Gets it over. They're going to work it around the perimeter until they find what they want, either a cutter or an open shot. Bond. Guarded by Reband. This HEA team has such good defense, and Tennessee really testing it right now. Bond shot, no good. Blair has a 2-on-1. He dumps it over to Opsimer. Opsimer goes up. We got a contact and a foul. And then Roman Opsimer will put himself at the free throw line, try to get his team on the board. Opsimer this tournament averaging about 17 points a game for the Firebirds.
Half of that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. First shot is good, and they are finally on the board. Yeah, 12 of his 13 points in that MHEA upset came in the fourth quarter for Opsimer, and then against Dallas in that win, 8 out of his 14 in the fourth. Yep. So you know that he has that capability even if he starts out slow, but right now it looks like they're trying to get him off to a good start. Taking a couple of shots he hasn't hit, but he sinks both free throws, and the 2026 dunk champion gives his team his first 2 points. It's 4-2. Tennessee now with the ball. The Heat in the black and red. HEA Firebirds out of Michigan in the white with the orange trim. Dismang up top. Over to Bond in the corner. Deep 3. Too strong. Fight for the board. Markowitz comes away with it. Opsimer going to push it up. Surveys the floor. Gives it to Reband. Fake to 3. Lost the ball there for a second. Firebirds maintain control. Ellis Blair. Reband. He is a defensive stopper, but he's also deadly from 3.
The rotation defensively here by the Tennessee Heat.
Yeah, and that time it looked like it was tipped away. Yeah, that's going to be off the hands of the defender. That was number 11, Wyatt Story. Another one of their all-Midwest performers. Man, you look down their roster, and Tennessee is just loaded.
Another tip pass.
I know Patino made that popular, counting that statistic, tip passes. I mean, they right now would be in the lead. Opsimer finally gets one to connect. First field goal for the Firebirds and their first lead of the game, 5-4.
Yeah, you had mentioned whether them free throws were going to get them going or not.
Bond backs it up for a 3. Newest spot. No good. Opsimer with the board again. Looks up. Markowitz streaking down the court. Kicks it over in the corner. Anderson Blair. Got it. Anderson Blair, their 3-point specialist. That's his 9th 3-pointer of the tournament. He's got his first 3 here And now the lead is doubled. It's 8-4.
They're on a 6-0 run.
Bullet pass down low. Story blocked by Opsimer. Opsimer tries to get back on Story, blocks it again, but there to follow is Dismang.
Dismang come down there and said, let me help you out, little brother. I got you.
In case you didn't know, both of these teams are really good defensively. I mean, they are challenging everything. Rebant on the drive. Bounce pass across the lane is picked off. Here comes Bond. Bond going to see what he has. Now kick it out top. They'll back it out. Lucas Holmes give it back to Bond. Bond going to tell Story, kind of direct the traffic here. 19 seconds to go. Looks like they might want to be content to hold for the last shot. Coach Bond calls out his play, directs the players where to be.
10 seconds.
10 seconds to go. Bond. Team down 8-6. Going to try to tie it or take the lead. Bond for three. Got it! Firebirds with a few seconds. Blair throws it full court. It is no good.
Big shot.
And the strength of that three-pointer there. Finally, Bond connects from outside. First three of the game for the Heat. And it is 9-8. The Tennessee Heat take the lead over the HEA Firebirds into the second quarter. Stay tuned for lots more action.
When it hurts, real time it.
Welcome back. Second quarter action here in the boys 18U Undisputed National Championship. 34th Annual Christian Homeschool Basketball National Championships here on the campus of Drury University. And we got us a good one. Trellis Williams, Jeremy Caldwell. Hey, I want to say hi to Paul Gilmore. He's usually on these broadcasts with us, but unable with family obligations and spring break timing. But Paul always working behind the scenes, and want to say, hey, shout out to him. On the drive, Bond, he hit the three that gave his team the lead right before the end of the quarter. That time unable to get that floater to drop. Blair and Rebant work the ball over the timeline for HEA. The Firebirds in white, Tennessee Heat in black, both trying to win their first undisputed boys 18U championship. We mentioned the Heat made it here last year and fell to the undisputed five-time champion MHEA Eagles. It was the Firebirds that ended that reign earlier this week with a one-point exciting win right here on this court to put themselves here eventually. That time, Senecola, great job. Knocked the ball away from Blair. On the attack is Michael McSpadden. He will kick it back. Now Bond will call the play out for the Heat. A couple of their bigs over at the table getting ready to check in, but right now they're going to go with this smaller lineup. Still got some length, still got some height out there, obviously with Banker at 6'9". Here's a right corner three that is too strong. That one no good there by Holmes, and a rebound to the Firebirds.
And we were talking about it a little bit on the break that both these teams just great defensive squads, and we saw it in the Final Four just shutting their opponent down completely.
Yeah, there's little spurts in their games where you can't get anything. That time, Opsimer, they're so good at that two-man game. Found a cutting Markowitz. Markowitz gets his first points of the game.
Yeah, with Dismang being out of the game, they went directly into the post.
Yep. Good awareness. Heat now giving up that lead on that bucket by Markowitz. Will try to get it back. On the drive, down to the baseline, cut off. He had Opsimer and Markowitz in front of him. He tried to throw it between them, but McSpadden unable to do that. Gets some good minutes there, and back into the game comes Dismang and Story. Story only listed at 6'3", but he looks much taller to me. Oh, nice find. Senecola Tried to get it to Dismang. Story almost lost it there. Banker holds his hand up. Boy, it's nice to have a big out top that can pass, isn't it? Tennessee Heat got some length. And one of their players injured, another one of their bigs. Bond with the jump shot. No good. Markowitz rips it down. He had two different defenders on him there, but he's able to come away with the ball for his team. Oh, calling for it. Almost had an alley-oop. Looked like Ellis Blair might have wanted to just wait and see if that defender was going to drop back because you had Banker back there.
Well, when you got Banker and Dismang both on the backside, that kind of affects your game plan, whether you're going to throw an alley-oop or take it straight to the hole.
That time I said Story looked taller, and on the inbounds, he just jumped up and grabbed the inbounds pass from the Firebirds and took it the other way and will put himself at the free throw line. Nope. Yep, he will be at the free throw line. Thought they might have called it something else there, but Story walks over to the charity stripe. He'll get two. His team down 10-9. They've not been able to do anything this quarter yet. Over 2.5 minutes into it. First free throw is good by Wyatt Story. That's his first points of the game.
That's only the second foul that's been called this game. The first foul called against the Firebirds.
Yeah.
Second shot. Rattles out. Markowitz pulls it down. We're all tied up. 10 apiece. Might be the first. It was the other night. I think it was Thomas Sanders said first team to 30 wins.
Yeah.
Points are hard to come by here tonight. Opsimer over, finds Ellis Blair. His three too long, and Disman grabs it, gives it over to Bond. 10-10. 5 minutes to go here, second quarter. Both teams trying to claim their first. Boys 18U undisputed. Sinicola for three, no good. And just one try each trip. Opsimer with the board. He'll bring it down.
Both teams' three-point shooters are not hitting their threes like they were in a semi.
That time I was just thinking, not the shot you want. Rebant kind of sailing away, but he connects. That's his first bucket of the game. Lead up to two now, 12-10 to unlock us from that tie. Bond to his right, driving on Rebant. Rebant tries to cut him off. Dismang feeds it to Banker. That's the first time we've seen him work down low.
Nice left hand.
Yeah, beautiful spin, and then switches hands. Banker's first bucket, all knotted up again. Rebant on the drive, little floater. He knew he had Markowitz underneath there, but when Markowitz came down, he had the ball ripped away by Bond, and you got to think the Heat are aware that Markowitz gets a lot of rebounds, but if he doesn't keep the ball up high, they're right there to just pull it away.
That's the second time Thatcher Bond has got in there and took the ball away from one of the bigs by bringing it below their waist.
Well-coached team on both sides. That time Bond had the ball taken away. Rebant, as we mentioned, he has been their defensive stopper all season, but this week we have seen it on display here. That time he's able to force Bond into a turnover, and Bond then with the foul.
I mean, that was just a perfect read. Perfect timing on snatching that ball.
Rebant. There's Opsimer from the elbow. Too strong. Markowitz battles Dismang. That's going to be a fun one to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Here comes Bond. Game tied up at 12. 3:30 to go here in this first half. Banker working on Opsimer. He got double teamed, and good closeout by Anderson Blair as he was trying to help down low. They kick it across court, though. Bond for three. Halfway down. Pops into the hands of Dismang, who makes him pay. He's got 6 now. Great follow. Bond that time, boy, he wanted to, if he'd have been a half a step quicker, he might have been able to pick that one off. That pass in the backcourt. Rebant. Going to his left. Bond switches his feet. Rebant fires. No good. Sinicola with the board, and then ball knocked out by Blair. He argued that it was off of Sinicola, but official says nope, off of your hand. Tennessee will maintain possession. 2:50 to go. Tennessee Heat holding on to that 2-point lead. HEA on the defense. They like it. They like to be on that side of the ball. They are so aggressive, so intense. Pass. Banker sealed looked like had Opsimer sealed, but then his shot was too strong, and Opsimer was right there. On the other side, Rebant came off with the rebound. He will bring it up, guarded by Sinicola. Firebirds looking for a shot, as both teams have been doing all game because the defense has been crazy. Rebant fires up a three that's no good. Rebound off to Bond. Tennessee Heat, 2-point lead. They've been holding on to it. Whatever run and gun is, this is the opposite. These guys are just like working hard at every shot. And then we got a collision down low and down on the ground. I think that's Ellis Blair. He took a charge.
Calling that on Story.
Story, I think, just tried to get through and maybe just didn't see him there. And Wyatt Story called for the offensive foul. And so HEA gets the turnover.
One thing I noticed is the difference between HEA and all the other teams that have played the Tennessee Heat is they are not letting Sinicola get loose on them.
Yeah.
And he has done so much damage in the last 2 games.
That time Opsimer puts up the little floater. We got a foul, and looks like that's going to put Opsimer at the line.
That's going to be on Wyatt Story as well.
That's his second.
He's going to have to go see the trainer. He's bleeding out of the eye, above the eye.
Yeah, dripping down there, and that's where that collision happened. And, boy, that add insult to injury when you get called for a foul, but then you also have to leave the game because of the cut there.
Yeah, but if there was any point in time you want that to happen, it's right now. Late in the first half, you got a little time to recover here.
Opsimer hits the first one. He's 3 for 3 now. He'll get one more. And, yeah, you mentioned that, Trellis. Space is something you don't get against either of these teams. The Firebirds just stay in your face the entire time as Opsimer ties it up. And he sinks the second, 14-all, under 2 to go, first half. Bond walks it over the timeline. His Heat knotted up with the HEA Firebirds. Dismang got Markowitz on him. Over in the corner, into the game now with that substitution is McSpadden. He gave him some good minutes at the beginning of this quarter. Dismang guarded by Markowitz. Markowitz operates a lot in the paint, but he is taking Dismang way out top sometimes and doing a good job. We also saw him yesterday hit some threes. And here's the pass. Dismang, 1:08 to go. Oh, Bond that time split the defenders and sailed up over Blair to make that one go. Tough shot. He's now got 7. Lead back to the Heat. Under a minute to go here, first half.
Looks like it's a little different ball game than when they played at regionals.
Yeah.
The final score in that game was 67-66.
Yeah, unless they had an overtime where they scored 50, and they didn't because I was there. But
they said it wasn't overtime.
Here's Blair.
You said 50 in overtime.
Yeah. Blair, that time shot was long, and Bond holds up the one finger. It looks like they're going to try to hold it every possession. So crucial in a close game like this with the intensity of the defense. 23 seconds left. Rebant going to try to get the 5-second count started, and he does. Gets it over to McSpadden. 15 seconds. Heat winding it down. They lead it by 2, trying to add to that before we go to the locker rooms.
10 seconds.
Dismang, 7 seconds. Here's Bond, right side. Markowitz on him. Kicks it out top, Sinicola. Here's McSpadden, fires up a 3.
Oh,
no
almost
good.
Went down.
And that's the way things will end. Guys, thoughts on the first half? 16-14 lead for the Tennessee Heat.
Very methodical by both teams. Not trying to rush too much early. Early on, the first couple of possessions, you could tell the jitters were there. They were missing shots, turning the ball over. They have both settled in, and now they're just very, very patient offensively. Both teams working the ball, just trying to make sure if they do take a shot, it's going to be a good shot in that possession. Haven't seen too many bad shots forced yet.
Yeah.
And that's probably why we have a low-scoring game, because you're not going to get many open shots in this game against either one of these defenses.
Yeah, another thing I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen every game Tennessee's played here in this tournament, but I know that Tennessee, one thing they like to do is get out on that break a lot.
Yeah.
Off the turnovers they force. It seems like HEA has been able to keep them in a box where we're playing a half-court game, making this a close game, which I think is very much in the Firebirds' comfort zone.
Yeah, I don't know. maybe we take a little credit for that, but it's obvious both teams have been scouted well because
Right.
both of their games all of them have been on here because they've been on this court, and you can tell they're both intentional about the way they're defending and trying to keep whatever the strength is of their opponent from happening. Well, we'll be back with the second half of this one, where right now in a close one, Tennessee Heat holding on to a 16-14 lead in this boys 18U Undisputed National Championship.
When it hurts, real time it.
We are back. Second half action on our final game this week. That is for an actual undisputed national championship. Today it's been all Big South. They won 11 of the first 11 undisputed championships, but this one's going to go to the Midwest as both teams are from there in this rematch of the third place game, believe it or not. And it's the Tennessee Heat right now, up 16-14 over the HEA Firebirds out of Michigan. Trellis Williams, Jeremy Caldwell, Scott Staten bringing it to you. And every single possession, in case you can't tell, has been absolutely contested. Here's rebound for three. Shot no good. Rebound to Banker for Tennessee. Both teams just with a great defensive showing all week, and especially tonight. Disman going to work on Markowitz. Markowitz, boy, he tries to back him down, and he's called for the travel.
Yep.
Markowitz held his ground there. He's a big guy, and he has gotten so strong this year. As you can tell, there's such a huge difference from last season. And that time, that defense, again, we were just talking about, so stout, able to cause a turnover. 16-14. Tennessee in front. Firebirds trying to change that. Rebound. Opsimer trying to find a spot in there. Looks like they're in a zone that is trying to match up. There's Opsimer. Deep, deep three. Maybe a little too deep.
Almost from the logo.
Yeah. Disman gets the board, gets it up to Bond. Gets his point guard in control. Disman, a big guy, but he can shoot it from outside as well. Banker, they like to operate him out top. He's 6'9", but, man, he's got a good handle and makes some great cut passes. Story over to Disman.
Very patient offensively here, the Heat are.
And when you don't have a shot clock, these defensive teams take big advantage of that. It lets you take your time. You can't get frustrated. Bond trying to find a seam in that defense. Fires it up, too strong. And there with the rebound. Good box out was Opsimer again. Roman Opsimer has pulled down a basket full of those tonight.
And really, offensively, Tennessee looked great on that possession. They were just going like clockwork, but HEA just right there with them the whole time.
Undisputed championship on the line. Both teams trying to win their first. They ended the Firebirds, the MHEA run, trying to start one of their own. That shot by Blair, no good. Markowitz battles Bond. Bond, though, comes away and wins that one.
Great rebound by Bond. He can elevate as a guard.
Oh, nice sailing pass, and Dismang uses his body to seal off the defender, and he gets his 8th point of the game.
Good finish on Opsimer there.
Lead is 4, which isn't a lot in most games, but that's been the biggest lead so far. Firebirds on the attack. Blair, nice ball handling. Gets it to Opsimer. Sinicola ran out, tried to knock it away from Opsimer. Rebound. There's Opsimer at the free throw line. Oh, nice spin. Goes up. Banker got a hand on it and then knocked away by Story. Sinicola with the ball. He'll give it up to Bond. Good defense. HEA now starting to struggle against that Tennessee Heat defense. Opsimer that time looked like he was trying to spin and get a move, but he was cut off by Dismang. Just too strong. Oh, nice bounce feed inside. Banker, the two big man.
They've ran that play a couple times here in this game, and they scored at least twice, maybe 3 times on that play.
Lead now 6. Tennessee Heat. They made it to the final game last year and lost it in the last 2.5 minutes. Today trying to finish that. On the drive, Blair to Markowitz, blocked from behind. Dismang. Tennessee on the run. Haven't said that much. Sinicola stops. Pops a 3. Got it. What a run to start this third quarter. 7 straight points by the Tennessee Heat. And they bolt out in front. 23-14 over the HEA Firebirds.
That was an injury timeout. We thought it was a timeout by the coach, but just a player was injured. He is going to take a timeout now because of that. Blair must have got kneed in the thigh, I think, or something. Sorry about that, Trellis.
No, but, now we are starting to see the Tennessee Heat starting to play the way that they have in the past rounds. And just right there, we see Sinicola get free and knock down the three-pointer. Yeah, that time, that was you don't see those much, but a defensive lapse where it looked like a defender was there, and then he turned around to step back and cover whoever was behind him. Sinicola looked up, saw that he had a wide-open shot, set his feet, and just buried it. Nice job on that end. On the offensive end, though, HEA, boy, we've talked about their defense, and
Trellis, you did all of the Tennessee games. I did all the HEA games, so it's kind of nice that we're both on this. But HEA has not struggled to score this week. I mean, they have been in their lowest, one of their lowest games. I mean, they were in the high 40s, but they had an 80-point game earlier on. They can score, but, man, they cannot find any open looks tonight.
And Tennessee, they just fly to the ball. They fly all over the place, just as they do.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are kind of even size-wise, and they play similar styles defensively. Knowing you got two bigs on the backside, your guards can play a little bit more aggressive on the outside because just like that last possession, Senecola went for the steal, didn't get it, but he knows he's got big enough backside help. He was able to recover, and they rotated over well that they just couldn't get a good shot off.
And all week, Opsimer and Markowitz have kind of bullied down low because they're just so big and so strong. But this is one of the few teams in this field that can match them down low with Banker and with Dismang.
I think
HEA, little quicker now on the passes.
I think this is the first substitution that HEA has had.
Opsimer drains it.
Did they give him a 2 or 3? I gave him a 2 on that.
Yep, they worked the ball around, and then he turned around. He's taken quite a few of those tonight. That time, though, he's able to connect, and that stops the bleeding. But then on the entry pass, man, somehow Story got lost in the defense. Beautiful find. Wyatt Story drops it in.
That's a rare defensive breakdown there for the Firebirds.
Back to back.
Oh, man, and then the pass goes out of bounds, and boy, Trellis, I think this time they're aiming at you now. You got to watch it.
Well, early on in the game, Tennessee Heat has ran that action here all night long. Haven't thrown the backdoor cut yet. They keep throwing it on the switch up top. So that time, HEA switched and covered the outside guy.
Yeah.
Banker wide open on the backdoor cut.
Oh, there's another. Oh, wow, they have exploited something in this defense. Banker holds the goggles up. Nice find. Another great pass to a cutting Story.
Tennessee Heat on an 11-2 run here to start the third quarter.
Yeah, they're starting to build it now. And then a trap in the corner. West Michigan, or HEA rather, has to call the timeout. And the Tennessee faithful starting to make some noise. Wow, that's you haven't seen that all week. And I don't know if that's just the coaches kind of observed something. But if that's 2 times in a row now where Story got lost, and on the cut, they couldn't do anything. He was just straight to the bucket.
Yeah, in the first half, that backdoor cut just wasn't there. The Firebirds were cutting that off, not allowing that backdoor cut, forcing them to keep working the ball up top. For some reason here in this third quarter, they've kind of let them slip through, and Banker's gotten 2 wide-open layups off those backdoor cuts. And, we seen it early on yesterday's game, I believe, Trellis, that Tennessee was doing that, but they kept turning the ball over because they would force that bounce pass, and it just wasn't there. But that's their offense, and they're going to run that play regardless of how you play defense. And sometimes the big even threw the ball when his guy wasn't even open and still got it through somehow.
Firebirds. And a kick there. They would have loved to run the other end with that one. Daniel Bauer on his bounce pass had the ball kicked away.
Man, you can see the defensive pressure here. The Heat starting to ramp up a little bit. They can feel this little 11-2 run to start here, see if they can get this lead extended.
HEA got to find something here. They have been held to 1 field goal on an Opsimer jumper just past the elbow, but nothing else so far this quarter. Here's Opsimer again, free throw line, got it.
Yeah, Opsimer is definitely a big-time weapon. They're probably going to need to just keep on feeding him because he's the one that's been able to find buckets here.
Yeah, and the easy bucket that he's been able to get is at that free throw line, the high post there.
Tennessee, their Story again. He is finding the opening, man. No matter, he's come in on cuts. He's on the backside, and another good find, and that lead is ballooned now to 11. All 3 of his field goals this quarter, and basically on a cut where he gets behind the defender. Here's a shot. Now Markowitz, his first shot of the second half. He's got 4 now. 29-20, Tennessee out in front.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to try to get Markowitz a couple buckets here and get him going.
Quickly the other way. Shot's no good. Dismang gets it. Markowitz pulls it down. Strong two-handed rebound. Opsimer going to bring it up. Firebirds down 29-20. Starting to try to find some shots here now. Rebant. threw it up with the left hand, and then underneath Markowitz, he had position. He gets knocked to the floor.
Thatcher Bond there on the box out.
Markowitz does that. He gets position and almost causes you to foul. And he claps and points over to Opsimer. Let's go. And then we got a timeout. Guys, this week has been a good one, and it's hard to believe we're in the final game here. Coming up after this will be the All-American game, and we'll have some of those festivities for you. We'll have some other announcers stepping in for that. But what a week it's been. A lot of undisputeds for the first time for programs. Seen some good young players headed up this direction. And then in 18U, it's unusual, especially, I mean, it's been 6 years at least since we've seen a new girls champion and going to have a new guys champion tonight.
Yeah, you can feel the energy in the room here, these two new fan bases in this championship game. And Tennessee Heat, was here last year. They felt that. They felt the pressure. They felt the presence of the arena. And we'll be able to see here in a minute and 41 as they roll into this fourth quarter if they'll be able to use that experience to propel them to hold on to this victory. But still got a lot of time left in this game, and still hadn't hit 30 points, and we're a minute 41 left in the third quarter.
HEA will inbounds it under their basket, trailing by 9. Rebant on the release. Gets it up to Markowitz, out top to Blair. Blair working on Sinicola. Opsimer. Well, that zone is really giving them trouble.
It's nice whenever you can play a 1-3-1 zone and leave Banker, a 6'6" guy, in the back.
That time McSpadden rips the ball away, and on the other way, Sinicola all the way. 5 points for him.
They're going to be a delay of game warning, I believe.
For knocking the ball out of bounds, and his coaches yell at him and say, stop doing that. It is a habit. I used to do that sometimes to get yelled at for it. You just get used to playground ball, knocking the ball down after it goes through the net, but not in this setting.
Dismang is going to take a breather here.
Yeah, looked to be confusion. I don't know if they wanted him to step out, but he ends up having to step out now. So you still got Banker back there at 6'9" on the back end of that 1-3-1. Firebirds down by 11 again. 1 minute to go here, third. They need to show some kind of consistency here on the offensive end.
Oh,
but that Tennessee Heat team,
that.
so tough. Here's Blair for 3. That's his shot. Anderson Blair, second 3 of the game, his 10th of this tournament. Under a minute to go, and that gets them as close as they've been in a while. 8 points.
Yeah, they needed that 3 right there. That was huge.
At this point, if you're the Firebirds, you really just want to stack some stops here.
Yeah. Got to piece some together because you can't trade baskets or you're going to be looking up at a deficit in the double digits at the end of this game. 30 seconds left in this third quarter.
HEA's in a man defense here.
Sinicola. Tennessee very deliberate. Going to wind this clock out. Trying to find an opening. McSpadden, they get to the hands of Bond. 10 seconds to go now. 8 seconds. Gets it over to McSpadden. McSpadden feeds it to Banker. Banker on the cutter. Oh, cut off by Anderson Blair. He throws it up from half court.
Ooh.
No good. And that's the way we'll end things here. It's 31-23. Tennessee Heat, they can taste it. Last year they led going into that final period. Can they finish the job this year against the HEA Firebirds? We'll find out after this break. Well, here we go. Fourth quarter, guys. Boys 18U Undisputed National Championship. Our last champion will be crowned in the next 8 minutes. 31-23, the Tennessee Heat. They've been here before. It's familiar territory. They led MHEA last year up into the final 2.5 minutes. They lead it by 8 here on the HEA Firebirds, trying to finish what they started in 2025. That time the feed too strong.
What a save by Senecola.
Beautiful save, but now it spurs a fast break for the Firebirds. Here's Blair. He drives the baseline, stops. Oh, and he thought Markowitz was there. Chased down by Opsimer. You might have wanted him to shoot that one when he was over in the corner, and they had Senecola running from the other end, but he drove the baseline and tried to find an opening. Now the Firebirds have to set up their offense.
If you're the Heat here, you're satisfied with them just running a little bit of clock.
Rebound to his left. Senecola tried to cut off the pass there. Here's Blair. 3. Got it. That's his. Man, he can nail it from outside.
That was such a big shot. You cut the lead to 5 now. You got new life here.
9 points now for Anderson Blair, all on 3-pointers. Here's the Heat. Man, that was a flurry of activity, and somehow the ball, Markowitz tried to dive out of bounds and save it, but his attempt just throws it back in, and his foot was on the line. Out of bounds there.
That's 2 big threes by Blair.
Yeah.
The last 2 possessions for the
huge
Firebirds.
Huge buckets. They had not been able to score, and boy, Blair, he has been money from outside this week. Firebirds trying to claw their way back against the Heat. Story tried to get the backdoor cut there. Didn't need to. Senecola gives a kiss to the crowd. He's got 8 now, and the lead goes right back up to 8.
What an answer there by Senecola.
Tennessee Heat trying to close out this victory. Here's Rebound. Bothered by Senecola. Puts up the floater. Too strong. Dismang had it. Knocked away by Rebound. Kicks it out. Blair again for 3. Got it! Wow! Anderson Blair is unconscious. He's got 12 now.
Back to 5. 6 minutes to go.
And you got to shout out Rebound on that one. He took that ball from Dismang down low.
Back to 5. 5:54 to go. On the drive. Senecola kicked it out. Here's a corner 3 by Story, and he got it.
And just making that extra pass.
I thought this was a defensive game. What happened?
It was, and all of a sudden
barrage of threes.
Broken out into a bunch of points. Trading 3-point shots now.
Probably won't see Blair have another open look.
Kicks it over to Opsimer. Haven't heard from him in a bit. Back over to Anderson Blair, the hot hand. Ellis Blair. Anderson now again. Feeds it inside. Opsimer turns. He had an opening. He kicks it out to Ellis Blair. 3. Got it! Ellis says, brother, you can do it. I'm the senior leader. I can do it too. His first 3 of the game, and it's back to 5. Not going away. The HEA Firebirds.
5 minutes to go.
Tennessee Heat. Trying to close this one out.
If you're HEA, you got to get the stop. You got to get the stop because you're starting to score the ball now.
Yep. Got to get some stops here, as you said. And that's tough to do against this deadly Tennessee Heat team. There's a drive by Story, guarded by Blair. Got tied up. Kicks it over. Senecola 3. Short. Rebound hits the floor. Opsimer chases it down. And he controls it for the Firebirds. Bond almost stole it, but now here's a break. Ellis Blair backs up, another 3, no good. Markowitz runs it down. Over to Anderson Blair.
Might have took the roof off if he hit that.
Anderson Blair, 3, in and out. Knocked away by Opsimer, and actually a hand of Banker tipped it off. Bond, I think, wanted a replay, but we don't have that here, unfortunately. On the inbounds, what a steal by Story. He skied up to get it. Senecola, bothered by Markowitz, no good. Dismang with a putback.
And how about that play by Dismang? He knew that was going to be a tough layup to shoot there against Markowitz, and so he just followed it up and finished it at the basket.
Story on that inbounds, man. He jumped a couple stories on that one to pick that off.
Yeah, that's the second time he's jumped that pass because of his elevation. Like, you got to know his height extension that he can leap. But good job by Senecola there, knowing that Markovich was possibly going to block it, but Dismang following your teammate. That's why you always follow your teammate on a fast break. You can't always just accept oh, they're probably going to make a layup and just stay back on defense. Great job by them, and they know what's at stake here. They keep trading buckets here with HEA, and if you're HEA, you're not in a position to trade buckets for the next 4 minutes. You're going to come out on the wrong end. You're going to have to get some stops.
Well, I'll tell you one word that I think of with both teams, not just defense, but hustle. They are giving everything they've got for this one.
Not a lot of substitutions either by either team.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of minutes, and they've done this all week long.
Yeah, these are two teams that are great with their focus late. I mean, both these teams were on the brink of elimination on day 2 of this tournament.
Yes. Yep.
Tennessee Heat nearly lost to OKC Knights, and HEA nearly lost to MHEA.
Yeah, if I think it was Banker that hit the shot.
Firebirds with the ball, trailing it by 7 after that tip in by Dismang on the break. Under 4 to go. We are over halfway through. Opsimer 3, got it! He looked like he was pretty far out there. He's up to 14 now. Opsimer with his second 3 of the game.
Firebirds have hit 4 threes in this quarter. They had 3 threes the first 3 quarters combined.
Well, that defense had been packed in, and that's one way to get over it. Just shoot from outside, and they are connecting now. 4-point game, 3:25. Does it start to creep into the head of the Heat? This is about where they were last year with the lead, and they weren't able to hold on. Almost picked up by Opsimer. Here's Sinicola, 3 in front of his bench. Too short, ball tipped out. Ellis Blair with it. Rebant gonna run it up now. 3 minutes to go. His team trailing by 4. Trying to win their first ever undisputed national championship for the boys 18U. Anderson Blair corner. I almost called it. I thought it was in, and it rolled out.
It rolled all the way around. I think it touched part of the net and came out.
Wow.
Man, that would have been a big shot. 2:45 to go.
Still a 4-point game.
HEA has extended their defense.
Yep, trying to double team there. Ball knocked away. Rebound. Sinicola, though, able to keep his footing, and then a timeout as Coach Bond sees that he was in trouble there. Guys, it was this point. I went back and watched last year's championship game. In the last quarter, it was right around 2:35 that MHEA took the lead and then took control of the game. Right. You got to think Coach Bond somewhere in that huddle is reminding his guys, finish the job.
I'm pretty sure he knows the time as well.
Yep.
And we're sitting at 2:33 right now, and they're up 4. Big possession here for the Tennessee Heat. If they can get a bucket, that'll help some of those jitters and erase some of the memories. If they miss a shot and HEA comes down and scores, you got to think it's going to creep back in. And remember, last year, 365 days from this same exact spot, probably the same exact time on a Friday night in March, where their hopes were dismantled by the Memphis Eagles. Do they have enough to hold on to this 4-point lead for 2.5 minutes?
And you can see HEA believes. They hit some of those threes. It was really Anderson Blair that got them started again. And since then, it's been Ellis, Anderson, and Opsimer all with 3-pointers this quarter to get them within 4. Tennessee with the inbounds, having trouble. Falling out with Story. Gets it back to Bond.
That was close.
2:30 to go. Bond with the ball. Thatcher Bond working on Anderson Blair. Story guarded by Ellis Blair. Picks up his dribble. Oh, ball almost knocked away. Did it touch him? Yes, they said it did.
Yeah.
Almost thought that would have sailed out.
That was so close.
They keep getting trapped up against that sideline.
Yeah, the Firebirds almost got the stop they needed to flip the momentum in this game.
Bond with the inbounds. Throws it out to Banker. Banker with Opsimer on him. 2:15 to go. Clinging to a 4-point lead. Anderson Blair.
It's a lot of time just to dribble out the clock.
Bond, he's a ball handler. Picks up his dribble, kicks it to Banker. Banker on the block, goes back out to Bond. Story drives the baseline. We've seen him hit a couple of those, blocked by Opsimer. In the fight for the ball, it's on the floor. Who's going to come away with it? Opsimer has it. Gets it over to Rebant. Rebant to Anderson Blair. Anderson thinks about driving on Bond, but kicks it back to Ellis. Ellis on the drive, over in the corner. Here's Anderson, 3. Got it! You could see that coming a mile away, and it's a 1-point game now. 1:35 to go.
That's his third three this quarter.
Anderson Blair, how about that? Big time, big shot.
Tennessee Heat clinging. Feed down low, Banker up, blocked by Markowitz, and we got a whistle. He had Opsimer and Markowitz on him. Going to see who the foul is on. Official's going to talk it over. Wow. What?
35.
What a change. 5 3-pointers this quarter, 3 of them by Anderson Blair.
That's the second foul of the game for HEA Firebirds.
That is the 6th foul call of the entire basketball game.
And in a defensive battle, you don't expect that. First free throw, Banker sinks it.
That was a big free throw.
Cold-blooded shot there. Puts it back up to 2, and we're going to have a timeout with 1:20 to go. Guys, what a game. What a comeback. It's been nothing but 3-pointers this quarter for the HEA Firebirds after they have struggled. Both teams struggled to score. That third quarter, Tennessee broke out. But, man, this quarter, HEA has found the range.
Yeah, and Tennessee Heat has not changed up their defense. They've stayed in that zone, and those corner threes have got them this quarter. They've gave up 5.
Anderson Blair with 5 3-pointers in this game is for his 15 points. He's got 13 in this tournament. I mean, he has been consistent, 2 to 3 a game. And tonight he picked the game to really light it up. But will they have enough time to make that comeback? They got to get a stop here.
They have 8 threes in this ball game so far. And remember, Ellis Blair went out of the game earlier with a little injury, and they had to substitute number 33 in his place, Daniel Bauer. And Blair has came back, and he's been a huge part of that comeback.
One more shot for Banker. His team up by 2. He sank the first, trying for the second. Rattles it in. 6 points now for him. The lead up to 3 again. 1:20 to go. HEA with the ball. Reband brings it over the timeline.
They changed their defense and went man.
So in that timeout, they switched their D. Now Opsimer. You got to think he's going to go to work. Anderson back to Ellis. And, boy, you could tell Story was not going to let Anderson have any space at all there. Here's Opsimer. Stops. Fires a 3. In and out. Markowitz in the battle for the board. I think Dismang kicked it out. And it will stay down here at this end. 56 seconds to go.
That's a big shot
game.
By
Wow.
Opsimer.
And that's happened twice to the Firebirds. Shots that go all the way in, all the way out.
Oh, Anderson. There's the closeout. Fires up a 3. No good. Rebound comes off to Reband. Another chance. Opsimer back up top to Ellis Blair. 48 seconds. Firebirds trailing 3. Here's a 3. Opsimer. That's short. Markowitz tries to chase it down. Saved by Banker. Gets it to Bond. 39 seconds to go. Heat trying to hold on to this one. Up ahead. He's Story. He's got Banker. He puts it in. Got behind the defense. It's a 5-point lead now. Under 30 seconds to go. HEA. Here's a 3 by Reband. No good. Rebound comes off to Dismang, and we got a foul.
Probably could have gotten a little bit better of a shot on that possession.
Double technicals on Banker and Reband.
Yep, some emotion there. And, I mean, they've got some history. These two teams have gone at it before. And that time, some frustration coming out. Wow, what a big play on the missed shot. They save it, are able to get it down to the other end. And the lead now up to 5. Banker got behind the defense there, guys. And that 3-point lead ballooning to 5 with only 20 seconds left. I mean, it's not over. And then they miss another shot, and so Tennessee has the ball 20 seconds away from finishing what they couldn't last season. On the inbounds, and we got a whistle.
They still got a lot of fouls to give. They got one more to give, and then the second one to put them on the free throw line with 17 seconds to go.
And a full timeout now for HEA. 43-38, 17.9 seconds. Guys, let's Trellis, you watch Tennessee. What are they saying right now in their huddle? And then Jeremy, you tell us what's going on with HEA.
Yeah, I think if you're Tennessee right now, I think you're trying to get the ball in the hands of Bond. Because, first of all, he makes great decisions with the basketball. Mm-hmm. He's athletic, but he also knocks those free throws down.
On the other side, Jeremy?
if you got to foul right away. I think the possession arrow is in the Firebirds' favor.
Yep.
So what you want to do first is you want to see if you can tie it up and get a possession, steal a possession. If not, you're going to have to foul. And there's only 17 seconds. I don't know if there's enough time to get enough fouls and shots and fouls down more than one possession.
We saw that earlier. That turnabout is fair play. We've said a couple of times today. HEA was able to beat MHEA. One of the reasons was because they didn't have the fouls in their favor, and MHEA had to keep fouling to get up to try to put them on the free throw line, or HEA rather could keep fouling, and because of that, they were able to wind out the clock because MHEA kept they wouldn't get to the free throw line. They just had to keep taking it out.
They had
that could
so
be an
many
issue
fouls
here.
to get. Same situation here, like you said.
On the inbounds, it'll be the Heat trying to throw it in. Bond got Markowitz in front of him. Oh, gets it to Story through the traffic, and then a reach in on Anderson Blair.
Next foul.
Yeah, Blair picks up his first there, and Tennessee going to try to get it in again.
Another inbounds, another foul. I think that should put him at 3, or is that – no, that's going to be 5, okay. That's going to be 5, so now the foul puts Sinicola at the line. Tennessee going to empty everybody back to the back court. They lead it by 5, 14.8 seconds to go.
If you're the Heat here, make or miss, you just can't foul.
Sinicola drains it. He's had a big night. 9 points, but they've all been huge here in this second half. He's defended well, he shot well, and he drains that one. 10 points now for him. HEA, 12 seconds to go, down 7. Rebound tied up. 3, Anderson Blair. Got it! He is unconscious from there, guys. That's his 4th 3 this quarter alone.
6 in the game.
18 points and doing everything he can. It's a 4-point game, 6.1 seconds to go. And now that you got the fouls, you can get Tennessee back on the free throw line, but do you have enough time to make up 4 points?
With only 6 seconds left.
That's going to be tough.
It's going to be, even if he makes both of them, it's a 2-possession ball game. But I don't know if there's enough time to foul and hit a 3, because you're going to have at least 4 threes if they continue to make free throws to make the difference.
And really what it comes down to is that Tennessee's done a great job down the stretch preserving this victory, putting themselves in great position. 7.8, so they do add 1.3 seconds to the clock, as we see there, but 4-point game with that amount of time, you're going to have to get a steal here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get a steal or a tie-up, and you got to steal a possession. You can't just keep depending on they're going to miss free throws.
Firebirds, 6 3-pointers this quarter. Unbelievable. What a showing they've had, but it might be too little too late. Tennessee, Banker going to throw it in the big man. He's going to be guarded by Markowitz, one of the bigs on HEA. Going to try to stretch those arms out and make it tough to get anything easy. Banker throws it all the way to the other end. Ball is tipped by Anderson Blair and Dismang, and which way? Oh, the official says it was off of Blair. He was hoping that it went off of Dismang. It was tough to see that time.
Oh, that's a huge call.
Yeah, he had him in both in front of him and behind him. Now they get it to Dismang. Quick foul by Opsimer. Dismang will go to the free throw line. Boy, Dismang and Opsimer are almost clones of each other. They can shoot outside. They're big. They're strong. And they've been guarding each other a lot this game. But Dismang is going to try to seal this deal for his team. He has double digits. Misses the first. He'll get one more try.
And, I'm sure there are going to be some Firebirds fans that look back at that play because you get the steal.
Yeah.
And it looked like there's a little contact there, too. And then you end up losing the ball out of bounds.
3.7 to go.
Situation.
He sinks the second.
A quick note there.
On the shot, no good.
The Tennessee holds on. That's the 6 in a row for Tennessee.
6 in a row for Tennessee, and here we go. Last year, they were minutes away from claiming their first undisputed. Tonight, they came to finish what they started, and the second time truly was the charm. Perfect ending is oh so sweet as the Tennessee Heat, in their second trip in as many years, claim their first ever Boys 18U Undisputed National Championship. Your 2026 champs. last year's runner-up, the Tennessee Heat.
And congratulations to those fellas. I mean, you're talking about from start to finish, 5 days. This tournament's a grind.
Oh, it is.
And you're talking about day after day, bringing that energy, bringing the heat. Tennessee Heat, the champions.
Well put, Trellis. Boy, we've had a great, great week. Congratulations to all the teams. HEA Firebirds, what a run they made. They made history this week, ending the reign of the MHEA Eagles, winning a close one over Dallas, dominating in the PT Warriors game to make it here to this game tonight, but just didn't have enough to finish the job, and they are your national runners-up. Well, there are a lot of people that make this happen, and even though we're going to have the All-American game coming up for you as the pictures are taken, the trophies are handed out, I want to thank everybody for all the job they did. Our broadcast team, it's been awesome. Trellis, you, Jeremy, Joshua Jenkins, CJ Pomeroy, Amy Curtis, Jeff Cannon, Thomas and Jesse Sanders, Brandon Dilger, Nick Fairley. Just a fantastic job up top. Darren and Taylor, our production crew, always, I mean, they're here from sun up to sundown every single day, setting things up. Rob Flatt, who puts this on, just a fantastic job. Zach Sturgill, and then our security, Scott Bagg and Parker Bagg as well. There's been so many involved and so many more names that we didn't even mention, but we want to thank everybody for an awesome week. And, Trellis, we got next year to look forward to. 2027 will be the 35th annual one of these championships.
And unbelievable. Homeschool basketball, folks. You watch this, and you see these young guys that played, young guys, young girls that played earlier today, and when they watch a team like the Tennessee Heat put forth this effort, win a championship, you just look up to them, and you want to be just like them in a few years.
Absolutely. Congratulations to everybody all week long. Great sportsmanship. And we've been so proud of you guys and all the efforts that everyone has given. Well, one day we get to throw all these down at the feet of Jesus, and it'll be kind of cool to see some basketball goals there. Thank you guys for joining us. And for everybody on the team and everybody that put this together, I want to say thank you for joining us again. And we hope to see you again next year in Springfield, Missouri. Have a safe trip home, everybody. Good night.